Alexander Sepp, better known as Wolfgang Poker, became the first poker YouTuber to reach 1 million subscribers. But is this guy even good at poker? Let's take a look at some of the most notable hands he's played. The first hand we're looking at sees a bunch of limps coming in, including Wolfgang, who has King 9 offsuit. We're taking an 8-way flop. The 9-5-2 rainbow board gives Wolfgang the best hand with top pair, king kicker. Airball makes a super wild bet here into an 8-way pot with queen 7 of nothing on 9-5-2. He bets $2,000 into a pot of $425.
A 2K bet into $425, but if there were ever a time for it, it's now.
Remember, Airball made a bet here 5 times the size of the pot. What is he doing this with? Anyways, Wolfgang makes the call with his top pair, and we take the 4 of spades on the turn.
Wolfgang checks the turn. Oh, Airball has 2 buttons, making his image even worse.
And Airball continues betting with 6,000 on the turn here. Again, another overbet after the original flop overbet. Wolfgang makes the call here, and I can't blame him. Airball is the type of player to have bluffs in this situation.
He's just praying Nick shuts it down, but Nick's not going to shut it down. Getting 2-1 on a call, and that's your opponent. Mr. Nosebleed Stakes, who is tilted in this small and nitty game.
The 6 of diamonds on the river brings a huge scare card here. Airball can easily have a 3 in his hand. Remember, this is a limped pot that was going 8 ways on the flop. So Airball can have tons of things here. He can have 2 pair hands. He can have a random 3 somehow. He could have 8-7 for a straight. So Wolfgang has got to be a little bit worried here. And if we're Wolfgang here, we got to start thinking, what kind of hands can Airball have here as a bluff? There's not going to be too many here. Maybe 2 overcards with 2 spades. I don't think we can put him on a hand like queen 7 off of absolute nothing playing this way. But maybe it is a hand like a jack 10 of spades or a queen 10 of spades or something like that. Queen 8 of spades, something of that nature. But he can also easily have a set, a 2 pair, and some random 3 here, like an ace 3 or a 6-3 or something like that. And if we're Wolfgang, we got to think about what our perceived range looks like in this spot. Wolfgang can easily have a set in his range. He can easily have 2 pair hands, right? This is a limp pot. He can have all the 2 pair combinations, basically, except for some of the offsuit garbage like 9-2 off and 9-5 off. You know, some of these players play those hands, but I can't imagine Wolfgang would have those hands. But he's going to have a lot of 2 pair combinations. He's going to also have some straights. He can also have a hand like 5-3 suited or 4-3 suited or 3-2 suited that called flop and turn and now made a straight on the river. So Wolfgang with a bare pair of 9s is actually towards the bottom of his range of what he would call that massive overbet on the flop and the turn overbet and then get to this river. So now it's a matter of, does he think Airball is capable of bluffing with complete air in a spot like this? Let's find out.
There's the call.
You win.
Well done, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang makes the call, and first hand looks good. Our next hand sees a raise, a call, and then Doug Polk making a 3-bet with his 9-6 of clubs, and Wolfgang Poker right behind him, waking up with his pocket kings. He decides to just call Doug Polk's 3-bet, and I like this because of how deep Wolfgang is. There's not that much room for Wolfgang to put in a little cute raise. I mean, he could go to like 3,000, but it just looks so strong that I'd rather him make this cold call of the 3-bet because it looks like Wolfgang could have a hand like Queen Jack suited or King Queen suited, and he just wants to take a flop kind of thing. So I actually like this call. It's a little bit sneaky. If Wolfgang was a little bit deeper, I would prefer a 4-bet here, but at this stack size level, I like it. High makes the call as well, and we're taking a 3-way flop. 8-7-5, all hearts on the flop. This gives Doug Polk a straight.
He can't keep getting away with it. Flopping a straight
Second kid just making you really
for a
tired,
second time today
yawning at 4:45
after 3-betting light.
And Wolfgang still has his overpair, but now has a flush draw to go along with it since he has the king of hearts. Doug bets a very small $1,000 here on the flop. Wolfgang makes the smooth call with his pocket kings, and we take the jack of spades on the turn.
Although it would be cool to have a third son.
Doug just decides to make an overbet shove here, and Wolfgang is not going to make this fold. I think this is a clear-cut call from him. He does make the call.
Biggest pot of the day by far, a flop straight
Good job doing twice.
versus an overpair and the heart draw. Yeah. And it all goes in the way of Doug Polk.
He ends up losing, but I like the way he played this hand. Our next hand sees a raise to $300. Wolfgang makes the call with his king-queen offsuit. Two other players make the call. We're taking a four-way flop. 10-10-7 on the flop. L decides to make a bet of $500 with his open-ended straight draw. Wolfgang, being in position, decides to call his king-queen offsuit here on this board, which I don't mind. He's got two overcards. A jack would give him an open-ender. He can take this pot away on future streets, so I don't mind this at all. The six of hearts on the turn gives L a straight. He bets $1,200. And it looks like this pot is about to be over.
Yeah, I have like no
Raise for Wolfgang. What is going on here? Wolfgang representing a king, or excuse me, a 10 or better.
But Wolfgang has other ideas. He decides to raise here to $3,700. I've got to say, I don't like this play, guys. I hate it. Now, Wolfgang can raise here with some portions of his range. King Queen is just not it. I really want a hand like a Jack 9, maybe a hand like a Queen 9 of diamonds or a Queen 9 of clubs that he called a flop with and now has a gut shot. So I want some kind of gut shot, or maybe some kind of flush draw with hearts here to make this raise. I don't want to take King Queen of nothing and just put in a raise here. I'd much prefer just to see a fold. I don't like where this is going, and the three of spades peels off on the river.
Honestly, he's got a lot of credibility to do something like this. Unfortunately for him, L just has a hand.
Wolfgang decides to continue his story here, and he bets out $10,000 on the river again. I would rather have a straight blocker here, some sort of Jack 8, Jack 9, Queen 8, Queen 9, something like that to make this play. So I'm not a big fan of how Wolfgang has played this hand, but let's see what L ends up doing.
Wow, he does fold. Folds the straight. Wolfgang bluffs L off a straight with king high.
L ends up making the fold here, which is absolutely baffling. I don't like the way this hand was played by either player. Terrible, terrible hand. Made G raises to $300 with his pocket eights. Wolfgang makes the call with his pocket sixes. DQ comes along as well. 9-6-5 with two spades on the flop gives Wolfgang middle set here. Made G has a middling pair with a gut shot, and DQ has a flush draw on this board. They check it on over to Wolfgang, who bets $600.
DQ's got a flush draw as well. We are about to play a big one.
DQ decides to raise it up to $2,200. Made G ends up making the cold call with his pocket eights, and it gets back around to Wolfgang, and I really like just flatting here. I think raising over the top is almost overplaying your hand. Like it's almost kind of saying like I have 8-7 here, but he doesn't have 8-7. That's the problem. So I really like just calling here and seeing what the turn brings.
Facing a check raise and a cold call. Not your favorite spot. You're certainly never getting away from it if you're behind, but
Wolfgang does just make the call, and we take the Jack of Hearts on the turn.
I'm just trying to see if I can lose a big pot first.
DQ facing this action, checks.
We take the Jack of Hearts on the turn, which changes nothing really. DQ still has his bare flush draw, Meiji still has his middling pair and his gut shot, and Wolfgang still has his set and the best hand here. And now Meiji is turning his hand into a bluff with the blocker to the straight here. He's got 2 8s in his hand, so it's kind of decent. He bets out $5,300. Wolfgang, of course, makes the call here. DQ makes the fold, and we take the king of spades on the river, which would have gave DQ the flush, unfortunate for him.
Front door flushes have gotten there.
on.
Oh my gosh. That is a sick jam from May.
Meiji decides to shove it all in here as a bluff. I love this play from him, by the way. But now let's talk about us being Wolfgang Poker. What do we do here, guys? This is a difficult situation. Meiji, the way this hand was played, he could have 8-7 here. He could have a straight. It's definitely possible. A flush is very possible as well, unfortunately for Wolfgang. And a bluff is just so unlikely the way this hand played out, guys. I mean, remember, Meiji cold called a check raise on the flop. So he's got to have some kind of big hand already, right? And then he bet the turn into 2 players, and then he jams the river. I mean, this line is so strong, and it's so difficult to try to pick out any bluff here that if I'm Wolfgang, I'm definitely making the fold here. If Meiji has a bluff here, I tell him nice hand, and that's that. I'd really like to see Wolfgang find a fold here. I don't think we can call profitably in this situation. It's just Meiji's range is just too heavily weighted towards 8-7 and flushes and just almost no air. The air that Meiji can have, like that I would be putting him on in game, I wouldn't think he has a hand like pocket eights. I would have thought he wouldn't cold call pocket eights, the check and the raise. I would think maybe like a 9-8 kind of hand turning into a bluff. You know, when he calls the flop and on a turn, he's like realizes I definitely don't have the best hand here, and it just turns into a bluff. It's got to be some kind of 9. Is my guess here, honestly. It's just, it's too difficult to find enough bluffs, guys. Let's see what Wolfgang does.
EQ might have had spades, though, the way you're acting.
I'm just standing out because I'm getting ready to
No,
leave.
not now. Like,
Oh.
you really had a tough time folding. You could have any 2 cards. Didn't put any weight into that shit. I just hate
It is the right read, but I also think it's fair to say you cannot put much weight into that.
Really not elusive.
You're
That
making
it
it sound like you've got a set.
I got a set,
Yeah,
but not a good one.
yeah. Oh, it's a good one. Nothing wrong with 6s.
One of the biggest pots we've ever seen him play on the stream. If he calls here, this would be the single largest pot of the day. May giving absolutely nothing away.
Oh, showing time, eh?
And Wolfgang folds!
Wolfgang makes the fold. I really like this fold, even though it was a wrong fold in practice, but I think it's a good fold in the long run. Our last hand here sees Wolfgang getting a little bit spicy. Z-Fish raises to $150. Wolfgang then 3-bets his king 8 of clubs to $450. BDC makes the call. Z-Fish makes the call as well. And we take a 10-2-2 flop. Rainbow. This flop gives BDC top pair, and Wolfgang just has 1 overcard with a backdoor flush draw.
So like $5 a thing for peanut butter. You spent over 20K.
Wolfgang bets $555. BDC makes the call. Z-Fish gets out of the way, and we take the 7 of clubs on the turn, giving Wolfgang a flush draw.
Big Daddy Chaz, 2 pair here.
Afterward, I'll show you all the... I don't know if we even have a jar here.
So with that flush draw, Wolfgang decides to bet $1,900 on this turn. BDC is not ready to fold his hand just yet. He makes the call. 5 of diamonds on the river is a complete brick. Remember that this is a 3-bet pot that Wolfgang did 3-bet, but he can easily have hands like pocket jacks, pocket queens, pocket kings in his range, pocket aces, all those hands. He could even have like an ace 10 type of hand, and he's probably putting BDC on a middling 10. So in this spot with a hand like king 8 of clubs, I'd prefer to see Wolfgang shut down this combination here because he blocks hands like a king jack of clubs or a king queen of clubs or a king 9 of clubs that BDC can have in this spot that he can end up folding. I'd much rather Wolfgang continue bluffing here if he had a hand like a queen jack, but with 2 clubs here, I'd prefer him to shut this down. If he wasn't going to shut it down, I think he's got to go all in and put maximum pressure on here for BDC to be able to fold one of those middling 10 kind of hands. But let's see what Wolfgang ends up doing.
Huge bet. Wolfgang going for it with king high.
Wolfgang ends up betting $6,555 here.
Big Daddy Chaz makes this call, be a 19,000. He lays it down. What a play by Wolfgang.
Nice hand, nice hand.
Love it!
What a play by Wolfgang.
He's back.
Promo code Wolfgang.
Promo code Wolfgang. ClubWPT.com. Let's go!
His jack score is 7 out of 10. I think he played decent. Not great. He could have definitely played better, but he didn't play horrible. If you like this type of content, then subscribe to our channel. I'm reviewing all kinds of players and rating them on how good or bad I think they are at poker. Hit the like button. Drop a comment if you disagree with what I'm saying about Wolfgang, and I'll see you guys in the next video.